Calculation before coming over, and I believe I got it right. 5,244 years ago, this year, this day, this Astami, Lord Krishna appeared in Mathura in Vrindavan. 5,244 years ago. That makes really Krishna is historically in this world, in the encyclopedia, etc., is the oldest supreme being recognized in human civilization. That isn't to say that many devas were recognized before, and even incarnations. But Krishna was recognized as a source of all incarnations. Giri, what is that? The Sanskrit for the avatari. Krishna is recognized not as an avatar, but as an avatari, means as a source. He is a source of avatars. He is the source of the Das avatar. He is the source of many avatars. They're not just Das avatar. Sometimes we get to thinking after years go by, we hear about Das avatar, only Das avatar. No. There have been hundreds, even thousands. If you look at all of time, there have been millions of avatars of the Supreme Lord appearing in this world at different times, and in other universes as well. And they all have a place, a planet in the spiritual world of Vaikuntha. Narasingha, Vamana, Varaha, all the different incarnations that we've heard of and those that we haven't, each one has a planet in the Vaikuntha planets where that form of Godhead exists forever, and there is where those who are devoted to that particular form of Godhead, that's where they go in their samadhi. When the mortal life is over, the window opens for eternity. Those who are qualified, they simply pass through it. It's as simple as going out this door into that sunshine. It is that easy. Those who are not prepared run into the pillar. They hit the pillar and they fall back into the material world. It's called samsara, the cycle of birth and death. But for everyone, at the end of life, the window is open to eternity. But only qualification can pull us through that. And Narada Muni, the great sage Narada Muni, he says the time duration for that to happen is lightning and thunder. Pa-pum, pa-pum. Died, living eternally. Boom, boom, just like that. That fast. Narada Muni. Do you know who is Narada Muni?
Yes.
Well, I'm talking to you. Narada Muni says in Srimad Bhagavatam that the time gap between leaving this world and entering the eternal world is immediate, one after the other. Pop, pop. Even Muhammad once said, death is not the most miserable day of your life. That's good to know, isn't it? By the time the end comes, we've already suffered enough. For that is actually, many people speak about the end of life as a relief. Whew, a relief. But if you're going to bang into the pillar and fall back into this world, it's a very temporary relief. And again, the cycle begins again. All right, so all forms of Godhead have an eternal place in the Vaikuntha. But above the Vaikuntha, the Puranas, Bhagavatam, Vedas, Upanishads, so many ancient books written by great sages, rishis, munis. They say that above all the Vaikuntha planets, there is one singular planet which is superior to all the others. It is infinitely bigger than all the others. Now, if any mathematicians are among us, first off, Vaikuntha is infinite. But Goloka is infinitely greater and bigger. So how do you get infinitely greater and bigger than the infinite? Well, prepare yourself. It's a wonderful place beyond the poet's imagination, beyond the fictitious story writer's imagination. It is a place which is the permanent, eternal reality. And there in that abode, Krishna, the cowherd boy, who is known as Krishna, has been recognized by great philosophers for thousands of years as the supreme personality of Godhead. That means Godhead has many personalities. Just like, the ladies might wake up in the morning and find out that the husband is very grumpy today and making his breakfast, and he's showing grumpy mood. It's time to pay the bills. Then on another day, he is so happy. It is Sunday. He has a day off reading newspaper. The husband has different moods. Does he or does he not? And the wife, different moods. We've never been able to understand those, have we? Krishna maybe. The wife, forget it. Never understand. But different moods. So God has different moods. And he has look and dress and shape and fun and activities. We call that Leela for each of those moods. Sometimes he likes to fight. Sometimes he likes to romance. Yes, God does all things. Everything is for his pleasure. And in that Goloka, Krishna is supreme above all others. More than his four-handed Narayan, more than his 16-armed Durgas, and so many amazing things Krishna shows. Narasimha, and then Kurma, Matsya, very peculiar. Many different incarnations. But the supreme one is Krishna. How you'll dance with Kurma. How you'll dance with Matsya. Can you? Dance with Matsya? But you can dance with Krishna. Krishna loves to dance. He's Nataraj, even more than Shiva, supreme dancer. Supreme dancer. And he likes to dance with his devotees. He dances with his cowherd boyfriends. He even dances with his mother and father sometimes. The House of Krishna is so happy. Sadness doesn't exist in the spiritual world. Grief, pain, misery. If you note the things of this world every day, what is there? It's just like shouting, yelling, paining. Even being born is painful, isn't it? That joyful moment of being born into this world, that is much trouble for the mother. Sometimes that is trouble for the child also. In fact, it's always trouble for the child. What do children do first? Laugh or cry? Cry. Yeah, they cry. Welcome to the world. Upside down, and they beat us. What is that? You're here, pow! And we cry. Welcome to the world. The world is so much suffering. And a child is just, in Western countries, they put this little cloth, maybe they do that now in India, they call it the diaper, right? And they pin the thing in the kid. Well, the pin pops loose and the pin is sticking the poor baby, but he can't say, Mom, the pin's got me on the right side. He just screams. And you're going, and playing with the kid, and the kid's screaming. But that's us. That was us. Fortunately, memory, we don't remember that. It would be worse than any prison we were ever think of be sent to, or incarceration. They put us in a little box. We're behind bars. Nobody can understand what we want. We can't talk. We scream for so many years. And then you learn to speak. Then you can say, there's a pin, Mom. There's a pin in me, right? But do you ever think about that like that? The first 3 or 4 years of this life is simply screaming in agony and pain in some way or another. I'm hungry. How to tell people I'm hungry? Scream. Cry. Huh? Well, it's a lesson. It's a lesson so that as adults we can think about this life. Okay, I don't remember, but I see these children who come into this world. Now they're happy, especially today. Good day for prasad, many sweets, Krishna's birthday. Very happy. See, they're smiling. 2 years before, only crying. Some temporary laughing, again crying. So as adults, we can look and say the entry into this world. The parents are all happy. A boy or a girl is born. They are so happy. Huh? The kid's not happy. Kid's crying. This world is about a lot of misery and a lot of suffering. And it's only by devoting ourselves as best that we can as honestly as we can, as sincerely as we can, to the lotus feet of Krishna and to the lotus feet of Krishna's devotees, that we stand any chance in this world of finding true happiness in this world, because it's not an ice cream. Ice cream will make children happy, sweets, any kind of things, toys, anything will make them happy. But then you as the adult, you're not so pleased by sweets anymore. Right, Mukunda? Where's Mukunda? Give up sweets finally? Not pleased by sweets, not pleased by toys. Then we come to the end of life. Wow. Hardly anything personally to us is pleasing. We are then pleased by what we see. Grandchildren, successful business in the family, whatever. Things of our experience. We are seeing that we can't eat anything anymore. We can't eat more chapatis. Doctor says don't take sugar, have diabetes. So many problems. And if you analyze back over your life, what has been that pleasure? Well, you will say, the birth of my first son or my first daughter. Oh, so your greatest pleasure was that child's greatest suffering. So now you're telling me that your pleasure is built on someone else's suffering. And if you analyze this material world, it is a shameful fact that for every moment we are happy, somebody else has to cry. One man's gain is another man's loss in this world. It's a tricky chess game. How to be fair, honest, gentle to all people and cause no one suffering. It's almost impossible. You buy a new coat. You buy a new shirt. You buy a new pair of shoes, Nike, for example. But for years, Nikes were made in sweatshops in Malaysia where poor women and children were not even paid enough to buy lunch. So they didn't eat lunch. They just made Nike shoes. So that at 5,000, 6,000, 8,000 rupees a pair, someone is very happy. Got a new pair of Nike. But the person who was making that, not so happy. Not so happy. So that is the nature of this world. It is temporarily pleasing, but it is followed, if not immediately or even beforehand, by some sign of anxiety, some sort of suffering, whether it's our own or others. So that is called Sankhya. When we analyze this world, what is good, what is bad, what is happiness, how that happiness came to me. Now you can take tests online to test your carbon footprint, they call it. How much damage do you do to the environment and do humanity? They have like 50 questions. Do you have more than one car? Do you do this? Do you do that? Do you have this such and such a brand of clothing? Do you buy more than 3 pairs of shoes a year? Something, you take this. Then the computer analyzes that and tells you how much impact you are having. And then there's some questions. What are you doing for your environment? And 99% of the people in the world don't do anything for the environment except spoil it. Take from it, take from it. You eat food every day. How much do you grow? Tell me. Sanatan. How much rice do you grow? How many kilos of vegetables do you grow? Zero. So what you going to eat when the boss says you're fired? Can't eat that paycheck. Food. Most people in the world don't grow food, isn't it? But everybody eats food. This could be dangerous. This could be dangerous in a society going forward. The world exists for thousands of years, and the water was pure, and the land was pure, and the air was pure. Now we live in such a situation, we think we're 1,000 times better off, but the air is not very pure, is it? If you live in Bangalore, and you just live somewhere near Center City, or in the Bangalore, inside the ring road, and you go to work and you come in and out. Let's say you don't work in a air-conditioned room, you just work in an open shop. It is the same as smoking 20 cigarettes a day. If you stayed in here and smoked 20 cigarettes a day, that is equal to not smoking and living one day in Bangalore. It's just the air. If you take a bag and seal it and you've got this nice Bangalore air, right? And take it to the laboratory and analyze what's in there. It's like the hardest thing to find is air. Oxygen. You'll see it's oxygen depleted, it's carbon infested, it's got all kinds of residues in it, even grease is there in the air. Well, but we think we have an advanced civilization, but air, the foremost necessity of life, is contaminated and causes us disease. Next, most important thing in life is water. You know, all you have to do to stop living is stop drinking water for 5 days, and you're a goner. You cannot live without water. But water all over the world is contaminated. Even here in the Kaveri, we say, oh, Kaveri, take sacred bath. We scoop some, take it to the laboratory. Oy, oy, oy. How many pesticides, herbicides, other things, everything from kerosene and diesel and gasoline is in that water. You can't see it. You can't necessarily smell it. And there's shortages. There's not enough water in the world anymore. Right now, people are still fighting wars and things over oil. But water is rising onto the stage of international conflict. No water, water shortages. Some countries are already out of water. Seriously, water problems. Certain parts of certain countries have big water problems. That's why when I always pick a place for an ashram, I say always, I've done it a few times in my life, I pick a river. Stay by a river. You dig a hole near the river, you'll get water. You dig a hole in downtown Mysore, downtown, I don't know if you'll get water in Bangalore, in the middle of the city, in a crisis. In a crisis. In a crisis, this type of living, we will not miss anything. One day I asked Rubanuga, what will happen if we surround this ashram with the police? Here they come, the police. They're here now. Going to surround the ashram. We all have to live in here. No problem. But no food will enter these walls. What will happen? And Rupanuga said, we'll starve to death. I said, Hare Baba, we have cows. You have cows. Along the bank of the river, there's jungle shocks, even with nothing in the garden. Then there's trees, unripe mango, coconuts. Coconuts are there 24 hours a day after the first 6 years of the tree. For 80 years, there's food any day you want to climb a tree, if you can climb a tree. There's food. So we could, I said, no. You would put on weight. You'd be eating paneer fried in ghee with a little shock. Then within 30 days, 20 days, other things grow. Pretty soon you'll be harvesting rice. You'll be laughing at the army who has surrounded us. In this environment, it really, 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 really takes the most bad type of disasters to create suffering. Because there's water, food, and air. These trees give us clean air every day. But when you move to the cities, and unfortunately even Vrindavan itself, the very birthplace of Lord Krishna, I just spent a month there. I could not see a tree from my second story window. I could only see buildings, not temples, lots of temples, but buildings, and you walk around the town, there's no trees. A little on the edge. But in the Vrindavan, there are no trees, and it started out just like this. It was a forest. And in between the trees, they built some small temples and then a couple big ones and everything. And people lived in and around the trees, and it was much green, much green. Now somebody plants a plant. It's like, whoa, a plant. Nothing is there. No trees are there. The monkeys are all living on the rooftops, totally traumatized. No trees. Monkeys out of trees or monkeys out of their minds. They attack people, they even kill people. In the holy Dham of Vrindavan, the monkeys, when I was there, killed a man, knocked him off the roof. It happens, they say, all the time. I saw every day people getting their purses, their glasses, stolen, just all manner of things. Deranged monkeys. Not afraid of humans, run right up and grab something off their face. But these monkeys here that we have, you can't get within 20 meters of those monkeys. You walk toward the monkey, he goes to the jungle. Right? So very out of balance. So what is the world, even in India, even in holy places, what have people been thinking? That we can live without air, water, and trees? Are you kidding me? We're going to live without these things? Yeah. When I first came to India, Bangalore was called the AC city of India. Air-cooled city of India. Now, it's just another helly-delly, gone. No infrastructure. Till 1 or 2 o'clock at night. What this is doing to the energy of children when they sleep even. Constant noise. They're sleeping. but the ear is open. All kind of noises. There are things in the air. Right here, I can turn on my smartphone and pull up a picture and talk to Rishi in Mexico. And he could see you and you could see him. Some little phone, no wire even. Such this technology. But when you stick that thing up next to your head, it pulls the microwave energy from the cell phone tower right through your brain. Do some research and you'll stop putting those phones up there. And I'm telling you, you young people are living 10, 15 years, you're doing this, you're going to see percentage of you, large percentage, going for tumor operations. Microwave energy causes tumors in humans, rats, animals, and any other thing. Whether you carry it in your pocket, stick it next to your ear, it's pulling what's called microwave energy. But in India, we're celebrating Janmastami for now 5,244 days. But everyone is killing themselves with these cell phones by sticking them in their ear and talking to their aunties and their mummies and their business, making crores of rupees. And then they're going to spend crores of rupees when you go for those surgeries also. It's a proven fact. And you read it in the newspaper about once a year. There'll be an article about the danger of cell phone microwave energy. You know why that article's there? The phone companies pay to put it there. It's so you can't sue them when you get your tumors, because they told you. Don't put these phones in your ear. Put the buds, put the speakerphone. So we live in an advanced civilization, India, where we are aware of the appearance of the supreme person on this earth. Most people in the world don't know nothing what happened 5,000 years ago. I mean, the Egyptians weren't even here 5,000 years ago, practically. But India knows, India knows, India knows. India knows what was the past, how the continents were created. In the Vedas, Ramayana, Mahabharata, all these ancient books, anything you want to know is there. Even spaceships, even interplanetary space travel is being spoken about thousands of years ago. But the Indian today doesn't know what's going on today. You don't realize the dangers of this modern world. And they are preying upon this lack of understanding in India to sell you every manner of bad product, contaminated goods, foods even, contaminated chemicals on the fields for the foods, so many things. And only a few people are waking up. Few people here in India. I mean, hundreds of thousands, but we need hundreds of millions awake, not hundreds of thousands. Many of the things of this world that you think are so convenient and so nice can cause you so much suffering. You should look into these things and educate yourself and not go blindly forward. India is meant to be the world leader, and we're optimistic in this modern age. India, remember, this Janmastami now is now celebrated all over the world. They're waking up this morning just like we woke up to celebrate Janmastami in Central Europe. In Israel. In Israel. There are devotees in Israel. They're waking up this morning now. They're 4 hours behind us, and they're beginning their Janmastami preparation. In England, jolly old, the Crown, you know, the Raj is celebrating Janmastami. Even in Berlin, the United States, all around the world. Islands in the middle of the ocean, Fiji, Hawaii, all over. You can just get a map today and have a big box of pins and just stick it everywhere where you know some Janmastami is being celebrated. And the amazing thing is, by Kazakhstanis, in Kazakhstan, they're celebrating Janmastami today. They're only 2 hours behind us. And there's over 100 devotees there of Lord Krishna, or more, and they're celebrating. Kazakhstan, Moscow, St. Petersburg. Now, Janmastami is celebrated all over the world, in every hemisphere, on every continent, almost in every single country of the world. And we're happy to say, actually, that credit, well, that belongs mainly to Lord Krishna, but his devotee, A.C. Bhaktivinoda Swami Prabhupada, was not the first person to leave India and take that message of Lord Krishna. Not the first. It certainly was the most successful. And he has implanted a culture, a philosophy, even a religion, if you will, into a completely foreign soil. And now you have Mexicanos, people from Mexico, people from Brazil, Russians, Ruskies, Kiwis from New Zealand, people from all walks of life and every color and shape of eye you can think of, celebrating Janmastami today. Oh, that's something quite wonderful, isn't it? And because they are celebrating Janmastami, they look towards India. Now, it used to be only spiritual things people looked to India. It's true. Travelers came to India throughout history from Europe, from different places. They discovered America while trying to find a faster way to get to India. They discovered America, got in their way. And a big detour ever since also. But, see what other point? What was the last thing I was mentioning?
Prabhupada.
Because it's celebrating Janmastami.
Okay, so and Janmastami is being celebrated all these places by all these people, and very much this has to do with the work and the sacrifice of His divine grace. And I say sacrifice because now this week I turned 70 years of age, and I think if I'm going to Mysore, I need my assistant to come with me. If I walk down to the Kaveri, somebody wants to come down to make sure I don't fall in and drown or something like that. But Prabhupada was 70 years old, got on a boat alone. I mean, he wasn't the only one on the boat. There were people on the boat. But he didn't have a personal assistant or any of these things. He was 70 years of age. And he sailed off to a strange country, far, far away, to bring them, amongst other things, Janmastami. It is now 50 years this day. Janmastami is being celebrated in Canada or in the West. It started in New York City. They had their Janmastami celebration. Nearly 11 months after Prabhupada reached the West, 11 months later was Janmastami, and they had their celebration. That's 50 years ago. And it's been spreading. So, Krishna is not one of the many devas. There are many devas. Devas in nature, there's devas in charge of everything. Trees, grass, food supply, everything, rain, Indras. Some we have heard the name of, some we don't even know who they are. Something like 33 million demigods, devas. And then there's gradation of avatars above them. There are different types of avatars. One is a human being. He is a human being. You know, we say man never becomes God. Kind of. He does when he's called Shaktivesh avatar. Shaktivesh means God gives him some Shakti. He himself is only the devotee, but God has given him a personal Shakti, you see. Like Ramanuja is the what?
He's the Angsha.
An Angsha. Yeah, he's a devotee, but he has part of the Shakti of Ananta with him, in him. Great saints in Bengal said that our Prabhupada had the Shakti of Nityananda or Baladev Tattva in him, because the thing that he did ordinary people can't do. Vivekananda tried, fell flat on his nose, didn't get nothing. So many people tried to go to America with Krishna consciousness and crack that nut. That's a tough nut to crack. Not like India. You can take Krishna everywhere and anywhere, you'll get some response. Somebody knows something. It doesn't matter. Adivasis, you know. Even years ago, we had friends of this ashram who were from the Muslim community, and they used to come here for Janmastami. And the ladies that would wear the burqas, you know, when their car was coming here, they would change their burqas and they would come here in the evening festival and mix with their husbands and everybody, and our friends here. And just like they were with us, they would celebrate Janmastami. So, such a place, India. You go to New York and John who? John? Yeah, I know a John. John lives right down the street. No, not John. Janmastami. What? And now, in so many cities across that country and every country in the Western world, Janmastami, celebrating Janmastami. So India is rising. But nowadays they also come to India for another thing. Technology, IT. They come, the corporates. Every plane is full. They come by the thousands every day. looking for economic benefit from India. 7 years ago, 7 years ago, when I would go to the West, I would have some money in my pocket. For the 40 years before that, anytime I came to India, I had to have all the money I needed while I was here to buy the land, make the ashram, to do whatever it was I was going to do, travel or anything. But 7 years ago marked the time that when I would go to the West, I would take some money with me for my travels from India. Understand? Now, India supports projects in other parts of the world. Actually, India doesn't need a donation from anybody for anything. India is prosperous. So now India is prosperous materially, and India is prosperous spiritually. It could be more so, but the world looks towards India for spirituality. If you think of spirituality, you don't think, I really need a spiritual vacation. I really need to take care of my soul. I think I'll go to Iceland. It's like, Iceland? What's in Iceland? Ice and land. Iceland. No. Nobody says, I think I'll go to Brazil. No, people don't go to Brazil for their spirituality. They go there to gamble, drink, and party. Understand? You go to London for shopping. You go to England for spiritual. Is it? There's only a few countries in the world that people go to for some spirituality. What are they? Quick. There's Israel, Mecca. No, not Rome. Well, yeah, there's the Vatican in Rome. There are a few places. But India overall isn't like, okay, Italy, go to the Vatican, that's one place. Oh, they might have two places, Tuscany or somewhere. India, how many holy places India's got? Well, within 3 hours drive of here, we have 2,000 Hoysala temples. 2,000 Hoysala temples within 3 hours drive of where I'm sitting right now. I'd say India's got lots of spirituality. And it goes back thousands of years. And what they made, have you ever been to Lahore or Ajanta or even seen the pictures? There's one temple there called the Kailash Temple. They took a mountain, they cut a hole in it and left a temple in the middle. They had to take out 400,000, that's 4 lakhs of tons of rock. They had to take out from the hole. As they carved the hole, like a worm, they went in, deity, temple, runes, came up on the outside and came out, and you look in this hole, this big, giant hole, and there's this temple called the Kailash Temple, all made of one piece of stone. So they calculated it would take them something like 200 years. They did it in 16 years. Now, Mr. Reddy here, he's built many big buildings, moved heavy equipment, and he will stand there and look at this and go, there's no way. With jackhammers, modern equipment, there's no way we can do this today. And in 16 years, it's not possible. There are stones in temples in India that are bigger than any industrial crane in the world can pick up. So how did they pick them up? Thousands of years ago. And those stones inside of temples and buildings, they're not just in India. They're all over the world. They're in Egypt, they're in South America, they're in Mexico and Mesoamerica. You know what the oldest pyramids in the world are? Serbia. Kosovo. And these places. What's that place? Anyway, they have the oldest pyramids in the world. Pyramid technology before the Egyptians. It's a big question. Where did this all come from? Where did these people have this technology? They just did it. They didn't do it, didn't work, do it, didn't work, do it, didn't work, just did it. Everywhere you see do it, no, it didn't work, make another one, try it again. This building, you see how architecture evolves in any civilization. You get to many of these places, there's nothing there, and there's these huge pyramids. And the biggest one in the world is in China. But you're all thinking Egypt, only place of pyramids. They are spread all over this world, and they are older than Egypt. What does it mean? It means there was a civilization spread across this world in ancient times, and they had knowledge in certain areas that far exceeds that which we have today. They could control the weight of things just by sound vibration. And thus they were able to do things where they have a stone that weighs so much, but after putting the mantras onto the stone, it weighs a tenth of that. It is transported easily. It is even made soft or hard, according to mantra. And science tells us that at the very basis of everything, there's a sound vibration that holds this together. And if you knock the sound vibration apart, this piece of wood will just fall to dust right in front of your eyes. You even know what an atomic bomb is? It's just making things break at the smallest level. And when that starts to happen, fire is created, heat is created. But how to do that was known thousands of years ago in the Vedas. It's called Brahmastra. And it is an atomic weapon. A weapon that happens at the atomic level. Not like a stick of dynamite. No. Atomic bombs. Atomic bombs will make Bangalore disappear within 10 seconds. There'll be nothing there. Nothing. If there is ever nuclear war and one strikes Bangalore, there's nothing. There's not even, the hole will be 3 kilometers deep. People say, oh, nuclear war, oh. You don't know what you're talking about. It'll blow a hole 3 kilometers deep, the size of the whole ring road. Everything inside of it will be gone. You come up, where's Sanatan's house? That's the power. 1,000 times more than Hiroshima and Nagasaki. So, we have great opportunity ahead of us in this world and in India. We are also in a time of great peril because we're in Kali Yuga. Krishna appeared at the end of Dwarka Yuga. We're celebrating his appearance for thousands of years. But Kali Yuga is marching on. And it's this type of observance, it's this type of consciousness that we get today, which we share with each other, which we get a little inspired, we feel something. It's this kind of consciousness, this kind of behavior, this kind of thinking and activity that it will benefit the world. So much of this modern living is not benefiting the world. It's spoiling the air, spoiling the land, spoiling the water, spoiling the children. Everybody's got diabetes. Everybody's got blood pressure. And guess what? Another 3 or 4 years, you'll have cancer in every single house, in every single family. You will have a person who is dying or died of cancer. Nobody heard of cancer 50 and 75 years ago. Now everybody's dying of it. What's happening? What's happening? People don't have time to find out what's happening in their life anymore. They don't have time. The world is constructed in such a way you barely have time to read the newspaper. Have a biscuit and a tea and out the door you go. To commute 2 or 3 hours to get to work, some people. Some people spend 6 hours a day just going up and down, 3 hours there, 3 hours back. Oh my God. Get a tent and live there. Save some time or something. You know? So, there's something that, in all these days I try to say something, not just to say about the day, and it's a very happy day for all of us, and you feel that when you wake up this morning, you're remembering Janmastami. Well, this is called Smarnam, okay? Now, how many people woke up today thinking, oh, this is Janmastami, I got to get going earlier today. I got to move a little faster today, get out of the house faster, whatever. Who felt like that? I did. Who felt like that? Okay. Now, if you wake up every day, now, yesterday or day before you woke up, and what did you think? You thought, oh, God, I got to pay the light bill, electric bill, go to the bank, oh, got to go see the doctor, buy some more insulin, the world, my boss, the world, right? And that didn't make you jump up so fast. Then you're like, maybe I'll stay 5 more minutes. You sleep a little more. It's called snooze alarm, right? So, put a little bit of Krishna Janmastami in the beginning of every one of your days. It might be a simple thing. Think in the morning when you wake up, oh, I got to get it going because I got to light my lamp. I have to say a prayer. I have to say Hare Krishna. I have to do something for Lord Krishna today. He's there every day. He's not just looking today. Like, okay, you are celebrating today Janmastami. I'm very happy for you, and you are feeling my love for you. Huh? The Christians, they developed this philosophy in the last 50 years. Jesus loves you. It had nothing to do with Christianity for the last 200 years. Jesus loves you. It's something they created in the modern sense. Historically, it was with his mandate that they killed hundreds of thousands of people and tortured them around the world, even here in India. But it's called the love bombing philosophy. Jesus loves you. It's nice in this world when we feel somebody loves you. If we told you, that there's a man at work, he's fallen in love with you. Even you may think, I'm not interested in that stuff. Still, you will feel a little bit of like, me? Me? Right? Some speciality. We're only human. We want to be loved. It's the highest form of affection that we can feel. And if God loves us or God's Son loves us, wow, that's really nice. Well, Krishna's been saying this for a long time before the Jesus freaks. Krishna's been saying that for a long, long time. His love for all living beings, all living creatures, starting with the cows, the peacocks, even the monkeys, all living creatures. And if you want to talk about love, well, Krishna is even more than a Cupid, actually. There are verses written in Bhagavatam, he's thousands of times more than Cupid. He makes Cupid fall from his chair. He makes Cupid fall in love. Cupid makes boys and girls, men and women, even animals fall in love. But Cupid falls in love with Krishna. Krishna is the God of love, supreme. So, but I think, when we have something for so long, the tendency of human beings is to take it for, granted. Yeah. And in doing so, we sometimes lose sight of the wisdom once had. That our forefathers, or human beings, spent, thousands of years to collect an understanding. For example, seeds. Seeds, you think. Seeds? Yeah, well, seeds. I'll buy some. Oh, really? You could buy some. Will they be Monsanto seeds? Or will they be organic seeds? You should ask. Because when you grow the Monsanto seeds, from that plant, whatever, you don't get any future seeds. You don't get any future seeds. Those seeds won't produce fruit. You have to go back to Monsanto and buy new seeds. Monsanto seed cannot be replanted. Now that's a good way to grab a country right by the throat. Get all of their food, GMO food, and then say, you guys don't give us that pipeline through your country. We're not selling you any seed. And guess what? You are starving to death. Or you're here eating ghee and Kaveri shock. Understand? It's not intelligent. But in history, seed, this thing like seed, no seed, we all die. Seed was so important. People who know now what is seed, food seed, they have in Europe, United States, seed banks where you can deposit and keep organic seeds on stock and get them whenever you want. Like people buy large amounts of gold and they keep it with some bank or something. You can have seed, because without seed, there's no food. But people don't even know what's seed. Why is Swami talking seed? Seed? But what is there? What is there? I go to the supermarket and I buy food. Oh, really? Well, when I was a kid, you went to the supermarket, and at the back of the supermarket, there was usually one or two doors. When you open those doors, there was a warehouse, a go-down, bigger than the supermarket, with all the rows and all the stocks. So when this food was gone here, the bread packages came out, the biscuit packages, the rice packages, it all came out. Okay? Now, you go to a big supermarket in the United States, you go to the back, there'll be 2 or 3 doors, you open them, whoa, there's nothing there. It's a place for a truck to come. And every night, millions of trucks are moving around the country. In the night, they bring the food. 2 days supply, no food in the supermarkets anywhere in the United States. And guess what? Big bazaar run out of food in 1 day. Food doesn't come from a bazaar. It comes from land. It comes from the And even when you have the land, you have to have the seed. Seed is so important. And the farmers that know, they know how to collect the seed, they know how to sort the seed so that next year they get a good crop. That knowledge is being lost in the village because everyone's son is being shipped out, everyone's daughter is being shipped out, and a few people are hanging back. And then they're getting subsidies from government and this and that. So why bother about the seed? I'll get some rice, I'll get my thing from the government. This is very bad. This destroys civilization. The modern civilization, as good as it is, as happy as it makes us, when we can turn on that hot water anytime we want it, we can turn on a TV show and get some enjoyment anytime we want it, jump in our car and drive out here for a nice festival. Still, all that stuff, it's unsustainable. You can't keep it going for thousands of years. It's only been running for 100 years and we're already half out of gas, the air's bad, the water's bad. What are we going to do after 800 years of modern living? Yeah. People are waking up all over the world, unsustainable. Now in China they build cities. You must have rice gardens on the top of every skyscraper that you build. You cannot just build rocks in the sky. You must grow food on the top by law in China. China's understood. Food. People should grow food. Moscow, the city of Moscow, right now in August, they are growing 65% of their consumed vegetables in the city. Of course, they're not big vegetable eaters. And they're growing them in the city. They grow grain in the country. And people are gardening. You have a window, it opens, there's a flower box. The hell with the flowers. Grow tomatoes. Grow food, or grow flowers you can eat. You know? People are becoming more and more conscious that sustainability must be part of the model of the society that we carry forward. In America, a good example, but the modern world is screaming for lack of sustainability. So it's an important thing. You love your children. You love your family members. Well, you're hurling them into a world in the future that may not be what you think it is now, what it's going to be. Crime violence is rising in India. Come on, Delhi's the rape capital of the world? What does that mean? What does it mean when people will just stoop to this type of thing in mass? In mass. And if you look what else goes on in the world, not including terrorism, just senseless violence. Last year, the popular thing for American Africans to do was to go and punch white dudes in the face without telling them what's coming. Or women, didn't matter, just smack them in the head and knock them out. It was called knockout. It was you kind of like let's go out and knock somebody, you know? Oh. What happened? What's that mean? A human being gone crazy. This is to derive pleasure from suffering of other people. The modern world, pay attention to it. Where is it going? Where does it take you? Where will it take your children? Where does it take your present state of health in your community and society? We can't just say, oh, they did it. Oh, they told me. Huh. They told you. God gave you eyes, ears, nose, mouth, everything everybody else got. So you can make intelligent decisions. So if you think something's wrong, you can speak to your friends about it. The way we live, what we do. The television. Be careful. Source of great learning, source of great corruption. The television, a very dangerous piece of equipment. And it's great because you can put the kids in front of it, and then they don't bother you, and then you go away. But they won't turn out like you think. They sit there and watch that thing for so many hours a day. It's bad on there. It slows down the brain, actually, for learning. It slows you down. Seeing and learning is not good. Just hearing. The Vedic system, you hear. No books. Don't show you no books. Show you a book slows you down. When they give you a book in school, it immediately slows down your learning. The Vedic system, no books. Shravanam kirtanam. Hearing and chanting. You hear the teacher, you speak the word. You hear the teacher, you speak the word. Pretty soon, hearing becomes so keen. You hear it once, you remember it. Now you got to take notes, remember the page, underline it. Our brains are slowed down like honey, just kind of slowly coming, you know. But there are schools around the world that do experimental education, no books. And the kids read a whole page in 3 seconds. A page of a book, 3 seconds. The brain is fast. The brain is fast. Faster than the speed of mind. Well, what is that then? Speed of mind, speed. No, we've been dumbed down. Fluoride is a chemical that is produced by making aluminum. It has no benefit for a human being at all. They put it in toothpaste, put it in soap, put it in drinking water in the United States by the tons. And they also use it in prisons to put it in the food to keep prisoners a little slow so they don't riot. But they feed it to the people in the Western world in the water supply. Keep them a little quiet. I met a lady when she was in Prague a couple years back, and she was from Miami. She was an Indian girl, but she'd never been to India. And she came into this dinner program, and she entered with her boyfriend, and she had a bindi. And I was like, oh, nice. Someone from India. No, I've never been to India, but I'm born in an Indian family. So she was very anti-fluoride. She knew everything about fluoride. Her boyfriend was one of the richest people in Central Europe, multi-billionaire, young guy. He never heard of fluoride. He was completely stupid. I don't know how he made the money he made. But she wasn't, and he couldn't guarantee that the water in Prague, anywhere, didn't have fluoride in it. So she wasn't going to drink water while she was visiting from U.S. So he had to fly coconuts from Miami. And that's costly because, one, the coconut's $10 a piece in Miami. And now you're going to fly it all the way to Prague. And she probably does about 10 a day, maybe, whatever. So that's what happens when your boyfriend is a billionaire. You can have your... But she wasn't going to drink the water because he couldn't guarantee that it didn't have fluoride in it. So in U.S., she's part of the no fracking, no fluoride. There's many things happening in this world with water, gas, these things. These become sounds. You've heard the sound in the news, fracking, right? You've heard this fracking, but you don't know what it is. And when it comes to town, it ruins the water table for as far down as you can send a drill. Your water becomes useless, poisonous. But it's a way of getting gas out of the ground. But it leaves the water completely finished. So you get the money when you get the gas, but that's not you. You're not the gas company. The corporates get the money, they get the gas, you got the bad water, what's left behind. And you drink that water and bathe with that water in one generation, and guess what? You got increased hospitals in your neighborhood because of that poisonous water. Do you understand? So part of today's Janmastami message is, let's go forward for another 5,244 years, remembering and celebrating the appearance of Lord Krishna. But let's also remember that we're in the Kali Yuga. And the Kali Yuga is not our friend. The Kali Yuga only has one good quality, and that is that the holy name, Krishna was here 5,000 years ago, and he's gone. He left. And we've been carrying on with temples and such things in his absence for all these centuries. But the holy name is Krishna himself here and now. Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we go forward with the holy name. In a sense, every day is a Janmastami because Krishna is present on every day. But today, because you are consciously surrendering your free will to remember it's Janmastami, to physically come to a place where Krishna is being celebrated, to be in that environment, therefore you feel something today. Do you or do you not? But that's available every day. It's only forgetfulness of Krishna that produces Maya, that produces any kind of suffering, any kind of ignorance. Understand? That's what I'm trying to emphasize. So let's go forward for another many millenniums celebrating the glory of Lord Krishna. But protect yourself every day with the presence of Krishna and Krishna Nam. Krishna Nam. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Janmastami ki jai. Jai. All right, so Kali Yuga. one of the nicest flowers. It doesn't last but a few minutes. So that is real devotion, right? When you spend an hour or something to string this garland, look, it's already gone. Look at this. Parijata. So nice. Thought I was going to give it to you, didn't you? Shri Krishna ki jai. Madhava ki jai. Gokulanandi Hari.